Welcome on in, everybody. Right here's the moment we've been waiting for. All of the things that we've talked about before all come down to this: Shedeur versus Deshaun, career versus franchise. Is Shedeur Saaaanders the franchise quarterback? And can DeShauuun Watsooon save his career as an NFL starter? Look at it all right here. We're going to break down the stats, and we're going to cut through all the crap that's thrown out there in the local media and in a lot of ways in the national headlines. Just getting straight down into it. And we're going to do this the only way we know how. We're just going to stick to the facts. So, that being said, get off on the right note, which is height and weight, as well as experience. DeShauuun Watsooon, 10 years pro. Shedeur Saaaanders, going into his second year. Shedeur, 6'2", 215. DeShauuun, 6'3", 223. Now, not much difference in size. Thing is, durability-wise, though, Shedeur, over his entire life as a football player, has been much more durable. I cannot recall a time when he missed an entire game due to injury, where Deshaun has missed multiple games. And at this point, after 2 Achilles tears in the span of a few months, I do worry about his physical health. Because if he tears another one, we're not talking about whether he can play football again. We're talking about whether he can run again. And he just got married, so that has future personal considerations. But as far as durability goes, we know Shedeur is ahead on that one. Now, we've heard a lot of things going on here about who's ahead, who's catching up, who's doing that. Shove all to the side, flush it down the toilet, watch the clips. Because if you put them all together, you can see basically an entire practice. It's just the way the world works now. A lot of times. We're not forgetting it here. Because we've been watching these practices. We know. And the thing is, I put out a video a few weeks ago. I think it was the week and a half into OTAs, when both quarterbacks were cooking. They were playing really well. But the thing was, right after I put out that video, I probably should have waited on it because Deshaun started cooling off. But Shedeur kept cooking. When they were talking about interceptions in 7-on-7, when Todd Monken was talking about that, Deshaun was throwing interceptions 7-on-7. Look at the Cleveland Sports Tracker. They conveniently left out an interception by Deshaun and a touchdown by Shedeur, I think in week 2 OTAs or day 2 of minicamp, something of that. I know there was a 2 involved. Can't exactly throw it out there on that. They were pretty accurate on the accuracy scale. But when it comes to touchdowns and interceptions, that was different. Also, you have to think, when there's a discrepancy in touchdown and interceptions, it depends on what the coach you're having each quarterback work on that day. So we're not going to look at what they do on an individual day and take it as gospel, because that's stupid. And anybody who does that's just looking for clicks. We're not doing that here. We're going to go straight into what they're doing as a totality and a total basis. The media is not going to have any influence on that. The most accurate quarterback has been Shedeur. Both quarterbacks seem to have command of the offense. The DeShauuun Watsooon is the most frustrating. He throws interceptions over the middle like he's Oprah Winfrey giving away cars. Okay, everybody gets one. But at the same time, he makes some of the most beautiful downfield passes you'll ever find. So it's easy to get caught up because Shedeur, when he misses, most of his misses have been downfield. Now, he doesn't miss all the time downfield. He's thrown some beautiful passes downfield. But that's not necessarily his game. He can do it. He's darn good at it. But that's more Deshaun's game. Throw it downfield. Shedeur is more of the take it, let's carve it out, let's carve out the defense, then take your shot. And it works. He's very good at it. Now, what I would like to see him in this mini camp do is get at the zone defense. Because the big thing outside of Jerry Jeudy causing at least 4 interceptions last year between Joe Flacco and Shedeur Saaaanders is Shedeur has a problem when the defensive end takes a step up and then drops back to leave a linebacker or corner blitz. He will see the step up. And I counted at least 2 of his interceptions came when that defensive lineman went back and he tried to make that quick throw. And it ended up getting intercepted. He's got to learn to read that. That zone defense, that zone blitz off the edge is what really caused him a lot of problems last year. He did a great job with other things. He read the defenses really well, but what you have to look at is that zone blitz. Now, I'm not going to talk about Deshaun as much in that regard because he's a 10-year veteran. He's expected to know this. And he has shown before in his career that he knows it and that he can do it. But he hasn't done it. He's played, I think, 19 games in 4 years as a Brown. So we don't have the body of evidence over the last year. I think it's year and a half, I think, at this point. Closer to 2 years. We just haven't seen it. He's been injured for most of that. But what we do have is what Todd Monken says. Now, we know the history. Todd Monken does like DeShauuun Watsooon. Nobody's going to deny that. Todd Monken, we know, has also been after Shedeur Saaaanders for the better part of 6 years. He recruited him to Georgia when he was the offensive coordinator in 2021 and into 2022. And 2022 was his first year. He then tried to get him in Baltimore. Now, question I got to ask you that nobody seemed to ask the media bias. You really think a 70-year-old man who's been coaching for 40, he got to start when he was 19 or 21 or something like that as a graduate assistant. He's been coaching 40 years. His brother's a coach in high school. His father was a coach. You think he's going to take his only shot as an NFL head coach and say, golly gee willikers, I don't have the quarterback I want. But I have too much talent, so I might not get the quarterback next year. No. That ain't going to happen. Yet for some reason, that's something that's being overlooked. So he likes both guys. So now you got to look at who is putting the work in. Well, right now they're both putting work in. and they are both hitting it hard. Shedeur's working out 4 or 5 times a day, meeting with Jim Tressel, doing everything he can to get ready for the season, working out in the heat in Texas, where Deshaun is putting in a lot of work. Not going to take that away from him. Putting in a lot of work. He was working out, I believe, with Casey Concepcion. So we're gonna give them both credit. They're both working their tails off. Okay, Deshaun's even throwing a little fire onto it because we know these guys have a good relationship. We know these guys like each other. But we also know Shedeur's looking to be the franchise quarterback. It's the only thing he wants. Deshaun's looking to revive his career, and this is his only shot to do it. These guys are both going to put their feet right there where it needs to be. They're going to put their feet to the fire. And they're going to go after each other. Doesn't matter if they like each other. The competition's on. Shedeur was in there day one. Flew back from his vacation. Came into Cleveland. He's been in the building most of the offseason. He's been working most of the offseason in the facilities. Not all of it. Obviously, he's been in Texas a little bit. I think he went to France. I think he's in Florida a little bit. So he's been around. I'm not going to say he's been there the entire time because that would be disingenuous. We're not going to go there. But Deshaun, since he got back from vacation, he got married. Congratulations to him. He has been putting in the work as well. But we're going to get off this narrative that Shedeur had a long way to go. He couldn't read defenses, all this, that, and the other. Jalen Ramsey, I saw him in a game or two here when he was still in Jacksonville. He put that to rest himself. Like, you didn't need the retired guy saying it. You're talking about a guy that was right outside, right next to him, playing safety, talking about how Shedeur was reading those defenses, reading them off. Now, didn't turn out the way Shedeur would have liked. But at the same time, well, he got a vote of confidence from a Steeler. Got a vote of confidence from a Steeler, buddy. That's a tough one to swallow. But at the same time, I'll take it. Tough to swallow as a Browns fan, but I'll take it. So both these guys are working hard. The media narrative, nope. Leave the media narrative out of it because the media has something against Shedeur, and I have no idea what it is, and I don't care. Keep that out of it. Just keep to the field and what's on the field. And that right there brings us straight back to the field because we're going to go ahead. We're going to take a look at what has happened in the last 2 years that these guys have been starting. Now, shout out to StatHead. They do a great job. They do great work, multiple sports. They do an awesome job. If you're ever looking to compare some players, right here. Go over there, show them some love. Now, 2024 DeShauuun Watsooon versus 2025 Shedeur Saaaanders. Watson played 7, Shedeur played 8. We're going apples to apples, straight across the board. All right. Now, I don't know what this AV is. I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into what I do know. And what I do know is the QB record. Shedeur went 3-4. Played in 8 games, started 7. So his record as a starter was 3-4. Deshaun's was 1-6. Completion percentage. Deshaun, he completed a lot of passes that year. A lot of checkdowns. As we see down here with the passing yard average. Okay. And the passing yards a game, Shedeur got that too. Passing yards, Shedeur got it. Now this was with, remember, Shedeur had no camp, he was thrown to trash cans and ball boys. You'll call that a training camp. So he was learning everything on the fly. More passing touchdowns. A lot of interceptions. We already covered that. Deshaun kept, to his credit, he kept his interceptions low. Didn't throw as many touchdowns, but kept the ball out of the opponent's hands. And because of that, he had a higher QB rating. But here's what a lot of people are narrative dumping on, is how great of a runner Deshaun is and how poor Shedeur is. Now I want you to look at this right here. I want you to look at it. Because right here, it's telling you. Rushing attempts, 21 for Shedeur and 31 for Deshaun. Rushing yards, 148 for Deshaun, 169 for Shedeur. Shedeur, remember, led the team in rushing for 2 games. Rushing touchdowns, 1 each. And for all you fantasy gurus out there, there are your fantasy points for each player during that time. Now, I wanted to bring this up because this is an apples-to-apples comparison. 7 starts. It's actually throwing Shedeur's 8th game in there, which he came in the 3rd quarter or whatever it was. Let's throwing that in there, but it's apples to apples, 7 starts each. And it's giving you the lowdown on it. So I want you to remember this is apples to apples. Okay. Now, we're going to go a little further into the data here. Age, 23, 29. Now, the touchdown percentage, Shedeur had a better touchdown percentage. Interception percentage, Shedeur sucked. Deshaun was good. And look at the sacks taken. Everybody's harping on the sacks for Shedeur. 23 sacks for Shedeur, 33 for Deshaun. Sack percentage way up, 13% for Deshaun, 9.8 for Shedeur. And it could be argued that Shedeur had a worse offensive line. So we're taking those into account. Remember, the reason we're going over this right now is because everybody's been looking at, well, Shedeur versus Deshaun. Look at what they did. Zach Jackson's been saying, Deshaun looks like Deshaun from 2024. He's the same guy you've always seen. Gets off to a hot start, then cools down. That's exactly what we're seeing. That was the exact pattern in 2024. Shedeur, we haven't seen yet. He hasn't cooled off yet, but we haven't seen him in pads. So we don't know how far he has developed. But from the looks of things, he's developed pretty darn well. Now, I'm not one for the advanced stats, but yards of completion, that, as I said before, DeShauuun Watsooon was checking down on 4.3. Shedeur was airing it out a little bit, 6.9. So we're looking. So now we know Deshaun's checking it down a lot more than Shedeur is. Advanced accuracy. DeShauuun Watsooon was on target more. Well, when you're checking it down more, hopefully you will be on target more. Only 6 drops from what this is saying, but anybody who watched the Browns last year knows it was a lot more. Whether it was more than what Deshaun had with the 20, I don't know. But Shedeur also threw the ball away a lot more. That shows growth, that shows maturity. Let's keep going. Passes under pressure. At the same time in the pocket, 2-6 each. Deshaun was blitzed more. Shedeur was hit more. Shedeur was pressured more. His pressure percentage was 40% of the times he dropped back, he was under pressure. That's just absolutely horrendous. But look at the scrambling yards, 9.3 versus 6.3. Once again, it goes back to everybody saying Deshaun is a better runner. Now, getting all these advanced passing data types and all this, that, and the other. But now, when I'm not going to look at play type, I'm not going to look at any of that. From rushing, I think we're getting yards after contact. That's a running back stat. I don't think anybody really cares too much how many people are bouncing off the quarterbacks, because hopefully none bounce off any of the quarterbacks. I think this is a little bit more of what we're looking at here. Offensive snaps, 428 against 415. Shedeur Saaaanders, 428, 415 for Deshaun. And I think that's something that we need to look at, because it shows that we're kind of looking at an even playing field, and the only difference is that a little bit of time Shedeur played when he came in mid-game before the starts. So that's what we're looking at there. But those are the stats. Apples to apples. It is what it is. People can take it for what they want to. They want to throw out some advanced analytics. Let them throw out advanced analytics. But the tape is what we're looking at. And the tape shows 2 quarterbacks that know what they're doing. What we haven't seen, and what we will see here when the joint practices come up here in a few weeks, what are they seeing? Todd Monken brought with him those newfangled helmet cameras. I know some media personalities are saying, oh, those look stupid. I don't care how they look as long as they work. If the quarterback gets to see what they're looking at, maybe what they missed, and the coaches get to see what the quarterbacks were looking at, now we have a spectrum for them to work with. Because now they know exactly what's going on, where their head is, what's going on in that area, and they can see things from a different perspective. So, right there, we're going to learn. They're going to learn, hopefully. We're going to learn. Because right now, Denzel Boston is cooking. Casey Concepcion is creating havoc over the middle and running after the catch. Isaiah Bond's all over the place. If you get that bang 8 with Bond, you get that run after the catch with Concepcion, and you get that mismatch of a big body with Boston. And then all of a sudden you got Harold Fanning coming in. Fanning can make something out of nothing. He can find the soft spot. He is a beast of a player. And he has a rapport with Shedeur. You saw it last year. It's natural. He and Shedeur just click. Same thing with Bond. Now, it looks like Concepcion and Watson are clicking pretty well. So, where's Boston sit? I think Boston is fitting well with everybody. So, this becomes who's going to help you win now. And whoever helps you win now is going to get the job. But if Shedeur wins now, he will also be in the lead for the future. Because everybody's talking 2027, 2027. Nobody cares about 2027 except for the media. Cleveland media cares about 2027. Most of us only care about what is happening on that roster right now. We care about Shedeur. We care about Deshaun. We care about those receivers. We care about how the offensive line's doing. We care about whether Verse is going to come in here and bring the same intensity he did with the Rams and bring the same leadership he did with the Rams. We don't care about 2027. As far as we're concerned, the quarterback's on the roster. Because the quarterbacks on the roster are on the roster. So is the quarterback of the future on the roster? We'll find out. Because I have a hard time believing Todd Monken took this job without believing the quarterback of the future was on this roster. He is 70 years old. He is not going to take a job where there is zero chance of a quarterback on his roster. He's not going to take a chance. The only shot he's going to have, he's not going to take that with a team with a 25% shot that the quarterback's on the roster. I doubt he took it with a 50% chance. He believes the quarterback of the future is on this roster. And for my money, that quarterback is wearing a number 2. Now, I'm not saying that Deshaun is just going to stink it up. I don't think he's going to win the job. I don't think he's going to be with the team after this year. But I want both guys, Shedeur and Deshaun, to be playing their best. Because whoever comes out of this, I want them to be a better player for it. I want them to come out I want them, what was it Deshaun said? Put the foot on the jugular. I want these guys to put their feet on each other's jugulars. And I want them to press down. And whoever holds their breath longest, whoever gets there with whatever method they're using, I don't care if it's Shedeur's closing your eyes and using your ears and your feel for the pocket to make your passes, to use your other senses in there, or if it's Deshaun's long passes or quick passes in live succession to Casey Concepcion and the other receivers that were there with him working out in Florida. I don't care. As long as we come out here and we have the best quarterback available. Because right now, we're looking at franchise versus career. We're looking at Shedeur versus Deshaun. Who's going to win? Because the franchise, we got till the 29th. When veterans report. And when the 29th comes, that's the start. And by my calculation, you got 2 weeks, 3 at most. We're going to see which direction this franchise goes. And we're going to see who the big dog in Cleveland is. And the media is not going to be able to change it. They're not going to be able to swerve it. They're not going to be able to play the narratives. The players are going to decide the game. And for you guys, thank you for joining me. This has been a fun show. And, well, we're at the end of our rope. So go ahead, hit that ding-a-ling down low, and share, like, and subscribe. Because we are here and we are 2 weeks out. And we're going to know what happens. So, wrists up. Superman shirt pulled open. Remember, this shot's on us.